What's up, everybody? Adam here with PTSD and depression. I'm going to be writing an article on my blog at www.ptsddepression.com that has to do with the day that I was almost shot by a sniper while I was responding as an explosive ordnance disposal technician to an arms cache somewhere in Iraq. I can't remember where it was. It may have been Dora District, wherever that is, somewhere around Bagram Air Base. I can't remember exactly. I moved around a lot when I was in Iraq, but I'm using this as just a stream to gather my thoughts on the story so I can get it right. I've got a piece of paper here. If anybody comes in, I put it out on Reddit. I'm not going to put it out on my Facebook. But I don't know, I've been feeling really jittery and kind of down. So I figured I would do something. So I'm going to talk about the time when I almost I did get shot. The bullet went right here. Literally, somehow it hit right here, right in front of my face. I was opening up the door to the jerv, and the bullet splattered, hit me in the hand. So, but let's rewind a little bit. I need to think about this. So what freaking camp were we at? May have been Liberty. It wasn't Liberty. It was some nice freaking Cush area. So I'll just put Cush area. I was a two-man team. IED. I'm pretty sure it was Doha or it was definitely Dora District because the snipers were freaking ridiculous there. We were rolling with strikers. I can't remember exactly what division or detachment or what's up, kitty? This is Hope. So let's see. It was a two-man IED detachment. When we got there, the Iraqi army had taken a huge, probably 50 or 60-pound bag of homemade explosives and had drug it from the second story down the stairs all the way down to the sidewalk. When we pulled up, we had seen that they were dragging this freaking very large, possibly very sensitive bag of explosives. This cat's driving me crazy. And if I could find the dang pictures, it would be amazing. I've got a lot of pictures from my deployment. So we showed up. There was HME. Basically spilled all the way down the stairs. So these guys were dragging this huge satchel of explosives that you don't know whether or not it's even safe to touch, let alone drag it down the stairs. HME down the stairs. I remember for some reason our security element was like not even there. I'm not sure where they were. So our security element was missing, which is probably why the sniper shot at me. I think they ended up showing up later. But for a while, it was just us there. Normally, we do not drive places on our own. So I don't know why we were out there by ourselves. Sorry, kitty. But we were. So we get there. I'm not going to say his name. My team leader, he was the one that got out of the vehicle, talked to whoever was on the on-scene commander. We decided that since they drug that homemade explosives all the way down the stairs, that they could drag it another 50 meters. There had already been, explosives detonated right at the intersection where we were at. So I don't know. we had them drag the explosives over to this hole. And I was driving at the time, I was told to build up some explosives to detonate the homemade explosives that were there. So I'm just going to put security element, drags to shot hole. Now, for whatever reason, this was my mistake. I don't know if I was just being lax and kind of too comfortable, but I got out of the vehicle. I was the driver. I didn't bring my gun with me. That's probably why the sniper decided to take a shot at me. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I think I was distracted by the guys, that I was so in awe that they had drug those explosives out and didn't blow up. Man, I've got pictures of it too somewhere. But I get out. I tell them to go put the explosives in that blast hole. They start dragging it. I turn around. I open the door. And next thing I know is something fucking explodes. And I thought the guys that were dragging the bag of explosives had detonated, because it wasn't like a bullet. I didn't know it was a bullet at the time. I didn't know what the fuck happened. I thought something blew up. So I open up the door, all of a sudden, kaboom, and I feel something hit my hand. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm hit. Turns out that it was a bullet. And that bullet felt like a fucking explosion. It was so close. It literally went right here, hit right in front of my face as I was lifting the door. It fragged, hit me in the hand. And I remember all I could say was, I'm hit. I jumped off back tailgate of the Jerv. I fucking ran as fast as I could, got in the driver's seat, and, blood was streaming down. I didn't know how bad it was. But I look at it, and it's not that it was freaking nothing, but you can't really see. If you take an x-ray of my hand, there's just like metal in it, like just teeny tiny. It looks like pepper. And then I just got a teeny tiny little, that's all it happened. It was either that or it would, I don't even know how, it literally hit right here. Like as I was looking at it, it hit right here. I was wearing eye protection, so that was good. So I get fragged by the sniper. And I'll just repeat myself since there actually is someone. I've got a watcher. Woo! What's up, dude? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Right now, I'm just currently working through an article that I'm writing on my blog. So I'm just kind of trying to formulate and remember exactly what happened. How many years ago? It seems like it was yesterday, but it was, let's see, 2007. So holy shit, that was a long time ago. And I still have not dealt with any of this shit. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 10 years ago. Oh my God. Feels like yesterday. That's what happens when you don't fucking deal with this shit. It fucking festers. So I got fragged by the sniper, got in, was bleeding all over the place. Didn't know how bad it was. I looked at it. I was afraid to look at it. I didn't want to look at it. Turns out it wasn't that bad. So my team leader calls in that I've been hit. We can't really deal with any of the explosives when I'm freaking bleeding all over the place. We end up going to some medical outpost. But on the way, we literally, from where I got shot, I'm going to draw this out. There's so I got shot like right here. We decided to drive right this way, right? We get to this intersection, turn right here and get stopped right here. There's an army guy going like this. Hey, stop. He obviously knew we were the IED techs because we're the only ones that drive jurors. He's like, hey, there's an IED out here. And we're like, where is it at? And he's like, back here, right here. We had driven over an IED. Luckily, it didn't go off because they had just caught the trigger man who was waiting right here. They caught him minutes before we came down this road. So after the we had got stopped by the Army guy. We're like, well, what are we supposed? We can't do anything about it right now. I got to go to the hospital and get stitches. So we call in another EOD team, and they come in and they take care of the explosives. So while I'm sitting at the medical place getting stitched up, another EOD team comes in. They take care of the explosives that were those 2 Iraqi guys were that drugged to the hole. They decided that it wasn't even safe to even move, so they blew it in place, and it sympathetically detonated. There was a line of powder that went all the way up into this building. It was a store, and I don't know why. I don't know what they could have really done other than, using some desensitization stuff and somehow cleaning it up, but that would have been a ridiculous job. So they just blew it in place, and it blew all the explosives all the way up into the building and set the building on fire. Then they have video of this too. I need to get some of this stuff. When I do finally write this article on my blog, I'm going to try to get some of the pictures and some of the stuff that happened that day. I know I have a picture of the bullet, the mark that hit right in front of my face. I know they had video of detonating that charge, and then they told us that the IED that we drove over was a 500-pound IED. They said they couldn't trace out the wires because there were wires everywhere. You couldn't follow anything. So they ended up functioning the IED as designed, and they said it just obliterated that entire intersection. And if we had been there when it went off, I don't think the jerv would have even withstood that detonation. Yeah. After that, they made me call my mom and tell them that I had been injured, which was freaking weird. I've pretty much ignored the whole thing. I never really thought about it, how close I was to being shot in the head. It's been 10 years. I'm very good at disassociation. That's kind of one of the things that you have to do when you're an explosive ordnance disposal technician. You compartmentalize very well, and that compartmentalization, I didn't actually learn it when I was in the military. I learned it growing up as a child, kind of being alone, and it was a self-preservation tool that I really, how would I say this? I made it, what the fuck I'm trying to say something, I don't know what it is. So I learned the compartmentalization, the disassociation when I was a child, and I perfected it in the military. God, why couldn't I say that? But that ability to disconnect and not feel is something that's not helpful in the civilian world. It's not helpful in relationships. I'm currently right now almost about to be divorced because I've just completely blocked out my wife. I'm not talking to her right now, which is not a fun place to be. Sucks. Well, I guess since I'm already doing this, I might as well do another story. Let's try another story. A lot of shit happened around that time frame. It was Dora District. That's what it was called. What is question mark? Is that your actual name? Question mark? Question mark? Yeah, Dora District. That was a place where snipers were all over the place. It was not a fun place to be. I remember we were doing a route clearance as In EOD tech, it's one of the things that you have to do. You do it. We did it with the combat engineers. What you do is you would basically drive down the road either day or night in a big convoy with a huge metal detecting, not huge, big metal, I can't remember what they called it, but it's this guy in a, kind of looks like a road grader, but it's a big coil that detects IEDs. That is out in front. I don't think that's called the ACE. The ACE, I believe, was the bulldozer. And then you would have, let's see here, I'll draw out the convoy. So you'd have the metal detector out front. And we'd have the buffalo. And the buffalo is the huge blast resistant vehicle that the combat engineers would drive. It's got the big arm. It has a claw, and then it has like a Talon on the back, so it can either scoop and pick up, or it can use a thing and it'll just like pop out IEDs. It was ridiculous. You see the we'd be behind the buffalo. We'd be behind the buffalo waiting for the buffalo to pull out IEDs. We would go, it was almost intersection to intersection. We would be finding IEDs. And basically, I was the robot operator. I would take and build up explosive charges, and I would send the rope. I would have to open up the doors like this, kind of like this, and there would be like a triangle. So the door would be open. You could see down. There'd be steps, and I would send the robot down backwards out with the explosive charge without getting out of the vehicle, because if you get out of the vehicle, the snipers would shoot at you. Obviously, I think I was out of the vehicle 3 times, and 2 out of 3 I had snipers shoot at me. So it was like a fucking game. You had to be sneaky as shit and drive the robot down the stairs. So like my team, it was a 2-man team, so we only had so many positions. Normally it's a 4-man team. So normally we would have a driver who would drive, a team leader. You would have 2 people to send robots out. So you'd have 1 person driving the robot, 1 person guiding it out the back. But that's not how we did it. We had a 2-man team. So it was me. It was like the team leader reaching behind to drive the robot down the steps. And then I would have a pole, and I would with the explosive, and I would lower the explosive down to the robot, all without getting out of the vehicle. Because like I said, you get out of the vehicle, you get shot. So we would just be driving down the road. Every freaking, there'd be an IED. Buffalo would pull it out. If it didn't blow up, thank you for the thumbs up. Question mark, is that your name, question mark, by the way? I appreciate you giving me a thumbs up. So robot would go out, freaking bring the charge, blow it up. And we would just drive down the road 5 miles an hour doing that for freaking 12 hours straight, blowing up IEDs. So on this particular day, we were in a populated area doing this. So we were, I've got all sorts of pictures of this stuff and videos. It would be really neat if I could like share it. It's the name of my account. I choose it so no one would have trouble. Hey, that works. That definitely works. Well, welcome. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. I appreciate it. Actually, I didn't think anybody would come in, but I did post it on Reddit. I'm assuming you came from Reddit. I put it on 2 different areas. I think I put it on the PTSD combat one and then just the video one. Yeah, so we were in a populated area, and all this stuff, all the memories, they kind of get all jumbled together. It's really hard to like remember when, all of these things could have happened the same day, but I don't know, you lose time, especially when you're so like pumped up on adrenaline. Adrenaline does some freaking crazy stuff it's like a wild drug. I mean, I don't know if are you a veteran? Are you in the military? Were you in the military? So one of the things that happened to me, I mean, the adrenaline is just freaking insane to the point where it's almost like having out of body experiences. The brain, when it's faced with life or death, it does some wild stuff. Like I remember being, going out into blast holes, and because you got it, once you blow something up, you got to get out and go out and look at it. And it was like I was so disconnected that like I was watching myself do this. Like I wasn't even there. If I would have got blown up, I probably wouldn't have even felt it. I was that like disconnected. Even when the sniper shot at me and I got hit, like I knew I got hit, and I knew like it was, but it was just like it wasn't even real. It's kind of cool, actually. It's very odd trying to talk about this and relive it. Like I can feel it in my body. Like, I can feel this tension right now, and it's good to like get it out, Oh man, whoo! I'm definitely feeling it now. I was trying to disconnect while I was talking about it, but now I'm like feeling it. Whew. So that day, I can't really like explain it. So I'm just going to go for a specific memory. For when we are doing route clearance as an EOD tech, you don't get out of your vehicle for the most part. For those reasons that I said before, I've got shot almost every time I got out of the vehicle. So I was sitting in the vehicle, and I remember it was like a market area, but it's just kind of the way all of the areas look when you're in Iraq. It's just like shanties, but they're all like in a strip. It's just, a strip of just shops and stuff. But there's nobody around because the army is going house to house looking for weapons and explosives and stuff. And I remember just like, it's freaking just like clear as day. There's these two army guys standing outside this building. And for whatever reason, I think we're waiting for the army to find something. We're kind of on standby. And next thing I know, I see this guy, and we're like, there's an intersection a block away, right? And I see this guy, and he's just booking it. He's just like running really fast. He was wearing this red. It looked like kind of like a soccer T-shirt. It was red with white and numbers on it. Simultaneously, I see this guy run really fast, and then all of a sudden you hear kaboom, and it was like slow motion, literally like within a block. I see an explosion to the right of me, and it's almost like slow motion. All of a sudden, there's debris falling down on those two guys that are standing there, and they run underneath like a canopy to get away from the frag. And so what had happened is there was a guy waiting for the army guys to go into this house, and he was the trigger man. That guy that was running was the trigger man, and he killed, I don't know how many freaking army guys got killed, but it was like 3 or 4 of them got blown up in that house. For whatever reason, we didn't go in and inspect that house. I don't know why we didn't do that. Normally, if anybody died from an explosion, we would usually go and investigate it. Maybe I think there must have been multiple teams that day. Actually, now that I think about it, that might not have been Dora. That may have been Bakuba. I can't remember. It all freaking jumbles up. It's kind of cold. My freaking hands. Wow, it's been 24 minutes. This is crazy. I think I'm gonna. All right. Well, I guess this is just story time. I'm going to just keep telling stories until I'm out of stories. Let's see. What else do I want to tell? It's kind of difficult when, this is just kind of, I didn't actually think about doing this. I just kind of threw it up here and blabbing. So question mark, what's your story? What's your deal, man? I've been talking about myself. How about give me something? Oh, man. I'm definitely like, oh, it's cool, man. Hey, I do not mind whatsoever. Feel free. I'm just blabbing. Now I'm like, I can feel all this tension in my body, trying to like, you take some deep breaths. Whew, man, it's one of those things you're expected to keep all this shit in, and what it does is it freaking eats you alive. I go to therapy every week. I have therapy tomorrow, but I have not done any post-traumatic stress related stuff. Oh, nice, man. Right on. Well, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So where did you end up coming in? Did you actually hear the sniper part? I don't know how this streaming stuff works. I didn't actually, this is my first time doing it. I don't know if it brings you in like right when the person is talking or if you start from the beginning. I guess I could talk, I might as well talk about the other time I got sniped. This was the very first IED call we went on. So basically what happens is when you show up in country as an EOD tech, there are already EOD techs operating in the area. And what you do is you show up with those guys and you blend in with their team. So you'll take over a spot and you'll go out and you'll start doing missions with them. And so my first call that I went on, my very first real call as an explosive ordnance disposal technician. We go out on this call. Some guys found a mortar, and so we show up and we deploy the robot. We get out and we search the area. This was one of the very few times when I got out of the vehicle, and we do a perimeter sweep to make sure that there's nobody. What's up, kitty? There's nobody. Nobody's placed any explosives around the area, because that can be very bad if you're, working and then, there's an IED sitting right next to you. That can make for a bad day. But so we deploy the robot. We're using a robot called a Talon. And actually here, I'll see if I can let's see, bring up Talon robot, just some pictures of it. So we had there are all kinds. Apparently they can even use it as a weapons platform now. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so check that out. That's the robot that we use. That's the Talon. The Talon was the freaking beast when it comes to IEDs. It's like the workhorse, man. That thing will just tear shit up. So we deploy this robot. We go down range and we look at it, and it's like in a ditch. And this ditch has no grass whatsoever. Except for this one spot where there's this nice pile of grass with a mortar sitting right next to it and a landmine sitting next to it. Now this thing looks obvious as hell, like it is intended to be found. And when that happens, your freaking spidey senses better be going off like crazy, because that thing is not your problem. you have a bigger problem, because that is called a come along, and it's intended to get you to go down and get it. And there's either an IED somewhere else waiting for you, or there's a sniper waiting for you. So we get the robot, we get the mortar, we bring it back. We get it in the vehicle. We look at it. It's fine. It's safe. There's nothing dangerous about it. Now, the problem with the Talon, maybe, can I do like a screenshot or something? That would be freaking awesome. I don't know. I might have to play with this a little bit. It would be really cool if I could freaking show like my screen or something. Maybe I can. I don't know. I don't think I can. Anyways, so the Talon is a ridiculously heavy robot. So it takes 2 people to get the sucker in the vehicle. Ouch. Why are you biting me, you butthead? This is Hope. She's one of our foster cats. She's living with us right now. There's always nothing without a purpose. That is true. So like I said, yeah, this is Hope. She's for whatever reason, she likes to, she chews. I don't know why. She likes to chew on fingers. She's super sweet. She has one of her eyes like glazed over. I don't think she can see very well. She's a cool cat. We do a lot of fostering. So I have a cat in my bedroom that sleeps with me in my hammock. I sleep in a hammock. I've been sleeping in a hammock for over a year now. It's amazing. I love sleeping in my hammock so much. I used to actually sleep in it in here. Crap, I got off my story. Where was I? Oh yeah, the robot, super heavy. So guess what? We have to go out and pick up the robot. And so it's me and another guy. The guy who's been here for 6 months takes the front of the robot. I get out and I take the back. And what happens? We open up the door to start freaking carrying, picking up. So we freaking on some light. So I'm on the back. He's up on the front. So I'm basically carrying the robot like this. And we're halfway in the vehicle. I'm like on the step. The next thing I know is there's a waka, waka. Somebody's fucking shooting at us. So I freaking just take the robot and I freaking shove the robot and the guy who's carrying it into the freaking vehicle. Like, it was just like Superman. I fucking threw that whole robot because it was close. I mean, I heard it hit the vehicle as I was pushing the robot in. Shut the doors and we were out of there. But that was my very first experience doing an IED call, is sniper freaking shooting at me. It was like, welcome to Iraq. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. It was definitely too hot to handle. I needed the GTFO quick. And, oh, man. You know, I'm not going to lie. I had fun in Iraq. It was, well, actually, it kind of fucking sucks because when you have that much excitement in your life, you know, I've almost died multiple times. I've been blown up. I've been freaking shot. I've had to deal with a lot of shit. Had to, you know, deal with people who have been, you know, blown apart, doing post blasts and stuff like that. I've seen some pretty nasty shit. And I don't know. It makes, you know, when you come back to the States and it's life is not fun anymore. Exactly. The people, you know, doing the job of an EOD tech was an amazing experience. Like, the amount of respect that you got from the people who you were helping, you know, making sure they were safe was amazing. But at the same time, like when you come home, when you come to the States and you've been, you know, your adrenaline has just been off the charts for so long, it makes things very difficult to like enjoy. Like it's really hard to, like, I don't know, like it's not, life is boring now. And it sucks. Like, no, excuse me. Sorry, I'm like coughing. I don't even know where the microphone's at. But it's difficult. Like, you kind of disconnect, and I don't know. You don't feel anymore. I don't know what it is. It's hard. You go to therapy and you talk about it, but I mean, this is why I'm doing this. This is just, I don't know, a release. You know, this is therapy. Here, I'll show you some other stuff that I do. I'll go to my blog. My blog is www.ptsdanddepression.com. I do a lot of, these are my creative outlets. I draw. I've kind of got into painting. I do a lot of, I really want to do some, I've been doing flame working, which is really cool. I really enjoy it. Because you deserve the respect, but no one can understand how hard, tell me about it, man. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I went through so much shit, like, excuse me, sorry. Whew. Sometimes you gotta cry. It's like I've been through so much shit. After the war, that I wish I would have never fucking come back. What do? You know, you gotta keep going. But you know, it is good, like, going through that stuff, and even though sometimes I wish that I didn't make it through it, but there is a lot of cool stuff still. All right, I need a different story. I need to. So, whew. I apologize for all the getting emotional, but sometimes it needs to come out. So I was a Navy explosive ordnance disposal technician, which means I was one of the only branches. So every branch except for the Coast Guard has an EOD tech. It has EOD. So the Navy Marines, Army, and Air Force all have EOD techs. But the Navy is the only ones that dive as well. I don't know if you heard about. Hang on, let me find it quick. Shit, Bainbridge Island. So recently, there was a mine that was found floating within like 5 miles of my old EOD detachment. This is the article I just posted. Oh yeah. Yeah, we had all kinds of freaking cool weapons. It was awesome. But if I was still in the Navy right now, I would have been